Ma, bro, I have got a story for you.
Entertain us!
There's some good news and some bad news in the story. But for those that don't know, I was involved in a car accident about a month ago. Someone crashed into the back of my car. I stopped at a stop street. Me and Coconut were in the car on the way to a friend's house, and they crashed straight into the back of us. Now, the car looked okay. Everything seemed all right, and I thought it was going to be okay, our Jeep Wrangler. But we found out from the insurance company that in fact that car was written off in terms of value. So the car's written off. We're now in a situation, we're stressing, we got a rental car for the next month, and we're thinking, okay, well, we, one, need to look for a new car, and two, need to look at getting this insurance payout. So this is a really interesting story because a lot of you today would have made a certain decision, and hopefully by the end of this video, I'm going to convince you to consider the alternatives of what you should have done in this scenario. Oh, hey there. Now remember, this isn't financial advice. It's just sharing some tips and insights from me and Coconut's life that can hopefully help you on your personal finance journey. Now, I've been in finance for the last 7 years, and I just want to share the insight that I've learned on my journey, really helping you achieve financial freedom. Cheers. So I'm going to give you a bit of an insight into some personal numbers here, but I think it's important because, it gives you guys, actual figures of what we were dealing with, and hopefully you can relate. Maybe you have a similar story, and I'm just going to be really open and honest here. So we took the car on finance. Of that finance, we had 95,000 left in dirhams to pay on the car, and the insurance payout amount was 140,000. So we're in a position now where we're smiling, and we've obviously got 45K excess in cash. Now this is really where the interesting point comes in. I was walking around the park, and the reason why I decided to actually shoot this video today is because I was walking around the park taking Coconut for her daily walks, and whilst I was in the park, I was just speaking to different people, explaining the situation and saying, what would you have done had this happened? 100% of those people said, brilliant, Matt, we'll take that 45K that you've now got in cash and put it down as the deposit on the next car, and that means that the financing and the interest that you're going to be paying on the financing going forward is going to be significantly lower. Now, I found this really, really interesting because I was thinking in the complete opposite scenario. So what do I mean by this? Well, let's look at the two scenarios and play them out. If I had taken that 45K and put it down as a deposit, obviously reducing my interest payments going forward, how much of those interest payments would I be saving over the 5-year period? The answer is 15,000. So around just under 15,000 dirhams we would have saved in interest costs if we had put this cash down as the deposit on the new car. So everyone would think about that and say, what a fantastic situation, you've saved yourself 15K in interest. The way I saw it was slightly different though, because I know that I can beat that interest rate through investing in my portfolio. So let's look at the examples here. So at the interest rate of 6.55%, and you can get a much lower interest rate here in Dubai, but on the assumption of around 6.55% on the new car, we would be saving 15,000 dirhams. Now, what if we decided to put 0% down on that new car and finance the entire cost? Okay, yes, we would be paying 15,000 more in interest, but we take that money and we invest it in the stock market. Now let's use the long-term average in the S&P. Let's use 16%. It is a bit punchy, but at 16%, guess how much that money over the same 5-year period would generate us in income from that investment? The answer is 90,000 dirhams.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Every single person that I spoke to in the park, they were blown away by this fact. And really, this is the way that you should be thinking about the opportunity cost of where that money could go as an alternative. So with that being said, you've got 90K that you've made from that investment, less the 15K that you would have saved on that interest savings. So you are 75,000 dirhams richer by choosing the alternative option. So it really just gets your mind thinking. I thought it was a very interesting topic to bring up today because I was quite overwhelmed by the response of everyone choosing option 1. But when you do the maths and when you work out the numbers, there's a clear winner that you should be going for, option 2. And I think the real principle that I wanted to leave with you today is you've got to work out, can I beat the interest rate that I'm getting finance on? And this is where credit becomes quite helpful in a scenario. If you can borrow money at 3.5%, but you know that you're going to be generating between 8 to 15% in whatever investment account you're looking at investing in, then it's an obvious no-brainer. You know, you've got to be looking, if I can beat the interest rate, then you're going to be making money by rather taking out that finance and then reinvesting it somewhere else. So this is really where I think people get confused, and it becomes a bit of a blurred line when everyone's told, stay away from debt, stay away from credit. Yes, but in certain scenarios, you've got to be avoiding the high interest scenarios. So overdue credit cards, you know, immediate 24-hour bank loans, or whatever's attracting really high interest rates at say 20, 25, 30%, that is the kind of debt that you should be avoiding. But if you can look at taking on debt where you know you can beat that interest amount, then you're going to work out on top. So that's just a fun lesson and something that's really happened, an actual story that's happened in my life over the last 4 months. So yeah, that's just a story I thought I would like to share, and hopefully in the next few weeks you'll see me driving around in the new car, which I'm hoping will be a Pajero, more than enough space for Coconut to run around. But yeah, that's the story for today. Hopefully it's going to help you in terms of making your decisions on these kind of scenarios going forward. Now watch this and keep following the Money Brew for more money tips. Cheers.